Hi everyone, welcome back to FPL Moneyball, where we use data analysis to find the best players for your FPL teams. Today we'll be doing a Gameweek 6 review, taking a look at the key matches this weekend and player performances. So without further ado, let's jump into the first match on Sunday, which is Newcastle versus Arsenal. So Newcastle were actually leading Arsenal through most of the game through a Voltemade header in the 34th minute, but Arsenal eventually managed to come back and score a win in the 90th minute through a header from Gabriel. Marino also scored for Arsenal in that match, also through a header, but ultimately Gabriel was the star performer, scoring 10 points through a goal as well as recording 3 bonus points for a total of 13 points this game week. For Newcastle, Tonali assisted Voltemade, who's also managed to bag 1 bonus point in the game, whereas for Arsenal, Declan Rice got the assist and a few bonus points, and Marino also scored the goal for Arsenal. So taking at the expected goals and assists, so we can see that Julian Timber from Arsenal was leading the expected goals and assists, scoring at 0.74, meaning that he got forward a lot from his fullback position and really threatened the Newcastle defense with his runs. Zubimendi also was the second most highest for Arsenal, which was pretty surprising given that he plays more a defensive midfielder role, and he has been in really good form for Arsenal lately, scoring a few goals in the previous game weeks. Victor Gyökeres is slightly lower at 0.38 expected goals and assists, although he did really impress me in terms of his hold-up play, and he did show a bit of attacking threat going forward, making those strong runs and linking up well with Eze and Saka, who came back from injury. And I do think that he faces a kinder run of fixtures ahead of him, so he could be one that is on the top of my watch list over the next few game weeks. So moving on to the next match was when Manchester City trashed Burnley 5-1, with Haaland scoring 2 goals, continuing his prolific form this season, bagging a total of 16 points this game week. And so congratulations to anyone who triple captained him. I think it was the right move to do in hindsight against a very weak Burnley team who have very poor defense and expected goals conceded this season. So other players that returned from Manchester City were both Doku with 10 points and Nunez with 12 points. For Burnley, the standout player there was Jadon Anthony, who continued his good run of form with another goal, scoring a total of 6 points in this match. So taking a look at the expected goals and assists here, there's no question who leads this. It's Erling Haaland with 1.41 expected goals plus expected assists, and he is able to produce such good numbers in terms of XG and A at 1.41, which is around his season's average, and this is really a very standout underlying statistics from Haaland, and he's really the top player for me, despite his high price tag at the moment. The second highest player was Jeremy Doku, also from City. He did make some good runs into the Burnley's box and has some good opportunities to score with 0.62 expected goals and assists. But for me, the standout still Erling Haaland there, and continue to own him and captain him whenever you can. The next match was Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. This was actually a very close match, and Crystal Palace actually came out ahead this match, winning 2-1. They also beat Liverpool in the earlier this season for winning one of their trophies, and they continue to be a bogey team against Liverpool. So the goal scorers was Sarr, who came back from injury and continued to pick off where he left off before he was injured, scoring 8 points plus 3 bonus points for a total of 11 points, as well as Guehi, who also scored an assist for Crystal Palace, scoring 7 points. For Liverpool, the standout performer there was Gravenberch with 1 assist, with defensive contributions, and 3 bonus points this game week. So taking a look at the expected goals and assists, Mateta actually had a few big chances to score against Liverpool, but he was denied by some fantastic saves from Alisson, who really kept Liverpool in the game against a very strong Crystal Palace attack of Ismaila Sarr also almost scoring one expected goals plus assist. And I think that now with Sarr coming back into the Palace team, they look really dangerous again. And there's a strong case for owning more than one Crystal Palace attackers going forward. Liverpool again slightly disappointing in terms of the attacking players, with Mohamed Salah at 0.53 expected goals and assists, and Wirtz at 0.52. They really haven't been the best in terms of their conversion and creating the chances. And Liverpool, after escaping with a few narrow wins earlier this season, have finally paid the price and suffered one narrow defeat themselves at the hands of Crystal Palace this game week. So moving on to the next game was the 2-2 draw between Leeds United and Bournemouth. Semenyo continuing his goal scoring form with another goal this game, as well as an assist from Senesi, who scored 6 points and one bonus point for a total of 7 points this season. Leeds also pretty impressive with Sean Longstaff scoring a goal and assist, a total of 15 points, and Roden, who has been a very budget cheap option at 4 million, also providing good value for managers who selected him in their teams, scoring 7 points this game week. So looking at the expected goals and assists, Calvert-Lewin from Leeds actually got the highest expected goals and assists at 0.74, followed by a couple of the other Leeds players. Bournemouth actually kept pretty quiet this game against a surprisingly strong Leeds defense, and the players that came close to scoring was Semenyo at 0.26 expected goals and assists. So hopefully the Bournemouth form can pick up following this draw against Leeds. I think they will be disappointed at the result, and given they are very informed this season, I'm pretty sure that they will bounce back from this draw against newly promoted Leeds side. So the next game was Chelsea versus Brighton, where Brighton also came from behind to win in the 90th minute. So Chelsea again having a red card for 2 games in a row after the red card against Manchester United last week. They were down to 10 men again after a red card from Chalobah in the 53rd minute. And that's pretty unfortunate, as he was selected by quite a number of FPL managers that who also own assets such as João Pedro, and since the sending off of Chalobah, Chelsea were forced to play more defensively, and João Pedro couldn't get as forward and get as many chances as often. So pity for managers who own him again for the second game week in a row. Chelsea down to 10 men. The goal scorer for Chelsea was Enzo Fernandez, scoring 7 plus 2 points for a total of 9 points. And as I mentioned earlier in my Game Week 6 preview video, I said that in the absence of Palmer, he's playing a more advanced position, and he does look like an attractive option among the Chelsea players to own, as he does have a good opportunity to go forward in the absence of Cole Palmer. Brighton, they continue to show some attacking threat going forward, with Danny Welbeck actually coming off the bench to score 2 goals, who scoring 8 plus 3 points for a total of 11 points this game week. And although he hasn't really been given the minutes to score points this season, he ultimately came off the bench and did ultimately return for managers who selected him, which is not a lot of managers. So taking a look at the expected goals plus assists, Enzo Fernandez here scoring 1.50 expected goals plus assists, which is even higher than Haaland this game week. So maybe he could have had more chances and opportunities to score more points. But I do think that right now he and João Pedro are looking at like very other standout options for Chelsea at the moment with Cole Palmer's injury. So next match was Brentford beating Manchester United 3-1 with 2 goals from Thiago, who actually scored his second and third goals of the season, and Bruno Fernandes unfortunate to miss a penalty against Brentford, and he scored actually a negative 1 point this game week, which is very disappointing for managers, including myself, who owned him. So looking at the stats, I think Šeško and Bruno Fernandes were among the top expected goals plus assists. Although Fernandes missed a penalty, he did have a good chance to score. And close after them are Thiago and Utara from Brentford. So next match was Tottenham Hotspur scoring a late equalizer against Wolves to draw the match 1-1, and Paulinho scored the goal for Spurs from the central defensive midfield position after a very disappointing performance from Spurs this game week, who also their defense didn't manage to keep a clean sheet against a very weak Wolverhampton Wanderers side. I think they scored through a set piece, which isn't a very high chance of them scoring goals this season. So the top expected goals plus assists was Bueno from Wolves, and then from the Spurs side it was Kudus and Bergvall, who didn't have the best of the games. You can see according to their FootMob rating, all around 6. So Spurs really didn't have that good performance this game week. So moving on was the match between Aston Villa and Fulham, where Aston Villa finally managed to break their poor run of form with Watkins scoring a goal and Buendia coming off the bench to score a goal and assist. So looking at the stats, expected goals plus assists, top was John McGinn from Aston Villa, and Ollie Watkins is all the way kind of in the middle of this pack with a 0.31 expected goals plus assists. He really hasn't been getting the service and even missed a penalty during midweek, I think. So he hasn't had the best of the forms this season, and it's a very disappointing asset to own for FPL managers so far this season. The last game that has been played so far was Nottingham Forest, again losing out to Sunderland, who have been very impressive for a newly promoted side. Alderete scoring the goal, clean sheet, getting defensive contributions and bonus points for a total of 17 points this game week. So expected goals and assists, Chris Wood continues to top the performers for Nottingham Forest, although he hasn't been able to convert a lot of his chances and have been very wasteful of his chances so far this season. So the last game, which is yet to be played, is Everton versus West Ham, which will be played today. And West Ham have actually sacked Graham Potter and appointed Nuno as their new manager. So I think that with the appointment, their defense should look more solid and concrete at the back. And they will be tested by a very strong and informed Everton attack of Grealish and Njai, who will be looking to continue their strong run of performance. So we'll see what happens this game week and see during our next game week 7 team selection whether how these players have gotten on in this game week. So lastly, I'll do a quick review of my team this game week. I actually made a mistake forgetting to change my captain from João Pedro to Haaland, so I would have lost a huge amount of points there. But if I captained Haaland, I would have actually gotten 16 minus 2 points, which is 14 extra points this game week, and will have been comfortably able to beat the average points. So as I mentioned just now, the key performers were Enzo, Semenyo, Senesi, who all returned, and the Arsenal defense and Bournemouth and Tottenham were rather disappointing this game week. So looking at the team of the week, we can see that the usual person here is Haaland, and there was some features from Arsenal with Gabriel defense at the back, as well as Sunderland continuing to keep clean sheets, Royce and Alderete. Lastly, also Sa from Crystal Palace managed to get in the team of the week this game week after coming back from injury, so I do think he is a good asset to own. So stay tuned for my game week 7 team selection later on this game week, and I will update you of my team selection and players to watch. See you next time.